Welcome back to The Explainer. So, if you've been feeling lately like there just aren't enough hours in the day to manage your work, your family, your finances, and your own well being, well, you are in exactly the right place today.
Absolutely. Today, we are focusing on a truly massive shift. We're diving deep into Chapter 9 of our source material, Sovereign Intelligence. We're going to explore this really fascinating concept called context engineering, and we'll show you how to architect a complete, personalized sovereign system. Basically, how to finally reclaim your time and energy. But before we get to the solution, let me ask you a question that honestly might hit a little close to home. Are you just using AI recipes? Like, do you feel absolutely exhausted treating AI as this single, isolated tool where you have to do all the prep work, write the perfect prompt, wait for an answer, and then clean up and execute every little thing yourself?
Man, that is such a common beginner frustration, and honestly, it's totally valid. You try out all these different tools hoping they'll save you time, but because they don't actually talk to each other, you're still doing all the heavy lifting. It ends up feeling way less like having a helpful assistant, and more like managing another demanding full-time job.
And that really brings us to the core metaphor for today's explainer. Old AI, it's exactly like having a single recipe. You give it exact instructions, you get one specific result, and that is it. Right. Okay, let's dive into this because this is where the magic actually happens. Context engineering is like upgrading from that single, isolated recipe to having the entire, fully staffed kitchen at your disposal. Instead of using a bunch of scattered tools, you're orchestrating a cohesive, personalized AI system that just quietly works together in the background. Now, I know context engineering sounds like some highly technical jargon, but let's neutralize that right now. All it really means is that you are designing a digital environment. You're simply giving your digital workforce a shared memory and a connected workspace where your tools can actually live, collaborate, and act with real continuity across your entire day. Exactly. And a huge part of creating that continuity involves another techie-sounding word, statefulness. But again, let's ground this in reality. Statefulness just means your AI actually remembers your goals, your preferences, and your past decisions from yesterday. It finally stops acting like a total stranger every single morning when you log on, and it starts remembering the actual context of your life. To build this full functioning kitchen, the source outlines four main pillars. It requires retrieval-augmented reasoning to use past information, statefulness to remember you, tool-augmented agency to use your apps, and multi-agent orchestration to enable real teamwork. I absolutely love thinking of these as your digital sous chefs. Playfully translating this, one chef checks the pantry to see what ingredients you already have, that's retrieval. Another remembers exactly how spicy you like your food, that's memory. One knows how to physically turn on the oven, that's tool agency. And orchestration is simply how they all communicate to get dinner on the table perfectly, literally without you lifting a finger. And this brilliantly illustrates the ultimate goal here. Architect, control, create sovereignty. This is the profound shift from being a passive user who is constantly reacting to and, frankly, overwhelmed by technology, to becoming the active architect of your digital life. You aren't just using an app anymore, you are commanding a whole system. So let's look at what that multi-agent orchestration actually looks like for you day to day. The text outlines four specific sovereign agents. First up, you have a finance guardian, spotting savings and actively monitoring your budget. Then there's a productivity shield, blocking distractions so you can actually get into deep work. You also have a learning coach, building personalized micro lessons tailored exactly to your goals. And finally, a wellness guardian, nudging you to rest and recover. The real superpower here is how these specialized agents. Let's walk through a real-life example to see this in action. Imagine the morning of a busy single parent. Without a system, mornings are stressful, chaotic, and totally reactive. But with this architecture in place, behind the scenes, the finance guardian notices a bill was actually lower this month and passes that financial peace of mind directly to the productivity shield. The shield then competently schedules an undisrupted hour of deep work for a side hustle while also automating a grocery delivery alert. The system is collaboratively planning the day before the parent even pours their first cup of coffee. Or take another scenario entirely, an artist who is just trying to get their work noticed. We all know the business side can completely drain your creative energy. Well, in this system, their agents handle all the mundane promotional tasks. A custom agent generates social media post ideas based on their latest artwork description, formats it perfectly, and preps it for scheduling. All of that administrative friction is just removed, allowing the human artist to focus entirely on their craft, their flow, and their joy. Which brings us to the absolute crucial takeaway here. Delegate the mundane. Amplify human potential.
When you build this sovereign system, the mundane, soul-sucking tasks that eat up your life simply shatter. You aren't replacing yourself. You are replacing the repetitive grind, which finally gives you your time, your energy, and your true freedom back.
Now, if you are a complete beginner, maybe you're a retiree or a small business owner, and you're sitting there thinking, I have absolutely no idea how to code this, please reassure yourself. Literally no coding is needed. The text provides a remarkably simple, accessible tool stack. You use Blackbox AI to set up your agents using everyday language, what the book playfully calls vibe coding. Then Go High Level acts as your central hub, linking it all together. LearnWorlds becomes your private memory bank, and 11 Labs unifies all their teamwork into a simple, natural-sounding voice briefing.
And the best part is, you can start doing this today without feeling overwhelmed at all. The Sovereign Blueprint provides these great, actionable, one-week quick wins. Step 1, just link 2 existing tools together. Keep it small. Step 2, test a multi-agent plan and listen to just one voice briefing on your commute. And Step 3, evolve your system with just one small tweak based on what you liked. It's really all about taking that very first motivational step today, completely at your own pace.
Okay, let's move on and see how this builds into something secure. Because as we architect this system, we absolutely must implement the foundational guardrails from Appendix A. A true sovereign environment requires privacy-first thinking. You must keep your sensitive data local, rigorously guard against letting the AI do your critical thinking for you, and always remember that your system must remain under human oversight. You are the architect and you are the final decision maker.
There is such an empowering core ethos to all of this. The text says, sovereign AI is AI that serves you, not the other way around. AI handles the mundane so you can focus on vision, relationships, creativity, and decisions that matter. That is the absolute heart of this explainer and, frankly, the entire text. It's all about returning the focus to what makes you wonderfully, uniquely human. Which leaves us with one final provocative thought. You've seen the kitchen, you've met the sous chefs, so are you ready for the 30-day Sovereign Intelligence Challenge? The appendices of the source text map out a full 30-day journey to build this step by step. We highly urge you to take that very first step today. Stop letting the tools manage you and start architecting your true sovereignty. Thanks so much for joining us for this explainer, and we will see you next time.